Is Jon Gruden a total chump himself? And how about Mike Mayock? Yesterday, Alex Leatherwood was the Raiders' first-round pick in 2021. He got one season, with the Raiders as their first-round pick. And he gone. They cut him yesterday. He was bad the moment he walked in. He couldn't play the position the moment that they drafted him. They realized, he ain't up for this. Pathetic. And when you look at the first-round picks of Mike Mayock and Jon Gruden, my goodness. All of those first-rounders, they had 5 first-round draft picks. None of them made the second contract. 3 of the 5 were released during the rookie contract, and then 2 of them they decided not to extend after the rookie deal expired. Let me give you Jon Gruden's record, okay? After winning that Super Bowl in 2002. He won the Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2002. Following that Super Bowl championship, since then, in his years with the Buccaneers and then 2.0 with the Raiders, Jon Gruden went 67-82, 15 games under 500. 15 games under 500 with a team that he won a Super Bowl with and a team who's being paid $10 million a year to fix. 15 games under 500, 3 winning seasons out of the 9+, 0-2 in the playoffs, never won a playoff game, left the Buccaneers in disarray, failed on every one of his Raiders' first-round picks, was caught sending offensive emails before he was a coach with the Raiders, but it blew up in his face last year, and prevented the Raiders from signing both Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. Nice resume.
Wanted Khalil Mack out, too.
Oh, let's add Khalil Mack, who they traded away how many draft picks, got absolutely nothing in return. I mean, what a disaster. I don't know if Josh McDaniels is going to be good. The odds are he's not, because he's a Patriots assistant coach, and none of those guys have made good head coaches. But the Gruden-Mayock duo were criminals. Absolute criminals. And is it not amazing that both of those bozos plied their trade on TV behind the act of, we know football. We'll tell you about football. Jon Gruden on Monday Night Football. I want football players, Sean. That guy could play for my team anytime. He could play for me. He needs to put the ball in that box, in that window. He needs more composure under pressure, Sean. Sean, this guy does this great. This guy doesn't do this great, as though he knew anything. Then Mike Mayock kept telling us what draft picks were going to be good and what weren't. He was a draft analyst on TV. Mike Mayock's drafting. Now, granted, Mayock was in charge when they found Max Crosby late in those rounds.
Yeah.
Okay. And Darren Waller, they got off the scrap heap.
Right, not a draft pick.
Right. Okay, they found a couple of guys late in the rounds, or they found Waller on the scrap heap.
Every GM finds a couple guys.
Well, those 2 guys are Pro Bowlers, and so they found good value there. But the point is that Mike Mayock, when he had to make an important pick with their first rounders who he would be assessing as an analyst on television, got all of them wrong.
And
all of them.
And the thing that needs to be reminded here is he didn't just take somebody that we all agreed with and then they turned out to be a bust.
Yes.
Cleveland Farrell, even at the time, Jonathan Abram, they took him. And, of course, Alex Leatherwood, every single one of those picks, and there's others.
Reaches.
everybody said at the time, what is he doing? Their reaches, and then they blew up in his face. So it's not like everybody unanimously agreed should go there was a bust. That's what makes it worse.
Yep. Mike Mayock convinced us he knew the draft. Jon Gruden convinced us he knew football, Sean. And it turns out when they had the keys to the car, they drove it into a tree over and over and over again. They couldn't draft at the top. They couldn't fix Derek Carr. They couldn't get to the playoffs. They couldn't do any of it. I mean, last year it was Dean Bisaccia who got to the playoffs.
I believe it was Rich Bisaccia.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Where is Rich?
Where is Rich?
Rich Bisaccia making the playoffs with the Raiders last year is one of the most incredible coaching jobs of all time.
It totally is. It really is. I mean, is it not amazing how criminal those two guys were? Jon Gruden stole $10 million a year and didn't win a playoff game in a decade of coaching. He had 3 winning seasons. And by the way, those include 2 9-7s. After he won the Super Bowl, which was Tony Dungy's team. Tony Dungy took the sucky Bucks as a contender every year into a Super Bowl challenger. Gruden walked in, and for 1 year it all worked. After 2002, when he won a Super Bowl, he had 1 season for the rest of his career better than 9-7. One. Fraud. Total fraud. He was a very good coach and a very good builder in the late 90s, early 2000s with the Oakland Raiders. I would never take that away from him. He built that Raiders team into a contender, and ultimately they fell short, got robbed in the Snow Bowl, the Tuck Rule game, but he was very good. And then ego took over. He got super lazy, got really fat.
I'll drop dead. I will drop dead without those burritos.
All right, maybe not really fat. But he definitely got tubby. And he just let himself go. He let the football go. He let the coaching go. He let the building go. He let the drafting go. He let his melee go, his little belly down there. He let it all go.
I forgot about Antonio Brown.
Oh, the Antonio Brown thing.
The freezing feet, that whole disaster.
You know, Antonio Brown might be nuts. He probably is. But remember when he called out Mike Mayock at his first training camp? Was like, you suck.
Wasn't wrong.
You know, it's amazing that Raiders fans don't like me because I feel like you guys have been robbed blind time and time again. Gruden was going to come back and be the savior, and you got jobbed. He's a thief. Oh, not to mention a misogynist and clearly anti-gay and, you know, from all of his emails. I mean, the guy's a dirtbag. But also, he's robbing you blind football-wise. And then he hires Mike Mayock, his TV buddy, who also is just stealing money. It's just flat stealing money. Oh, and then for their final trick, we're going to have Tom Brady.
Hold on. The mic problem from yesterday is back. D.A. was told not to move the mic, and he set it up, and he still can't talk into it.
Hang on. Here.
All right, you're back.
No more physical comedy. Hey, guys, can I come play for the Raiders? I got Gronk with me. I've got one of the greatest tight ends of all time. I'd like to play for the Raiders. And Jon Gruden says, no thanks. For my final act, I'll tell the greatest quarterback ever and one of the greatest tight ends ever, no thank you. Those two absolute buttheads. Those two clowns. Gruden and Mayock should be mocked relentlessly for the rest of football time. Jon Gruden couldn't coach, couldn't draft, couldn't pick a GM, told Brady and Gronk no thanks, and is a misogynist and hates gay people. All of that. You absolute shiny, right, polished turd. You are the worst. The absolute worst. Jon Gruden is the worst. What a football genius. 15 games under 500. 15!